Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of the Daz Dee TV show. In this episode we're going to be talking book reviews, what's on my iPod, and the Proformance Strength and Conditioning conference. So, I've just come back from a short holiday and I took a couple of books with me. Highly recommend you check out these two books. The first book is called The Miracle by Dr. Joe Vitale, and the second book is called Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting by Lynn Grabham. Both professional development books, both speaking to this theory of the law of attraction, which, if you haven't come across this before, basically says you get what you focus on. So if you are a negative thinker who is always focusing on what you don't have, through a lack of something, through a scarcity mentality, and you're always focusing on that, well, guess what? You're going to attract more of the stuff that you don't want. If, on the other hand, you're a positive thinker and you're always focusing on how you feel about your passions and your desires and the things that you want in life, guess what? You're going to get more of that stuff. It sounds simple, I know, but it's a really good opportunity to reflect on how you think about your life and day to day, how you think about things. This is just going to help recalibrate you, put you in a positive place, and just help you attack the day. And on a similar theme, I've been listening on my third generation iPod to a new podcast that I'm getting into. It's called the Ask Garry Vee Show. It's about social media. It's a marketing business kind of show, and the presenter Gary Vee, or Gary Vaynerchuk, is a really interesting guy. He's like Tony Robbins on steroids. He's from New Jersey, New York. He is very eccentric, he's loud, he's brash, he swears a lot, but he tells you how it is, and he pumps up your tires and reminds you that it's all about the hustle, it's all about working hard, it's all about putting good quality content out there and being patient but persistent, and he just makes me feel good. So I'm really looking forward to catching up more of his episodes, and I highly recommend it. And the last thing that I want to say today before I leave you is, hands down, the best conference that I've been to probably ever. I've just come back from the Proformance 2017 S&C conference that was hosted by James Baker and Mike Young. So hats off to you guys. You know, you have absolutely delivered on point there. Fantastic conference. Literally every single presentation was interesting and I learned so much. So trying to wrap it up in 5 takeaway messages is almost impossible. I'm going to have to write a blog, which I'll get to later on, but for now, just quickly 5 takeaway messages. Let me think. I guess the first thing, there was a really interesting talk from Alex Natera, who is running the Aspire Academy S&C program down in Qatar. And one of the things that he said, simple as it might seem, is, you know, the relentless pursuit of maximal strength when you're already strong may be a waste of time. Think about that, okay? Second point, I've got to thank Matt Depledge here, who is the Southampton Academy coach down at the Southampton Football Club. And he just reminded me that, you know, I need to do a great job now of tracking the growth of the athletes that I work with. But not just tracking the growth, which I already do, but relating it to the estimation of their predicted adult height. So knowing what percentage that athlete currently is, because that's going to affect your programming. But also, perhaps the other thing I need to look at is the Mirward maturity offset value, which again is another equation that you need to look at seated height as well, and that's going to give you an indication of how close one of your athletes is to achieving their peak height velocity. So again, if you haven't checked out the research there on the Khamis and Roche predicted adult height calculation, and also the Mirward maturity offset value, go check it out. Point number 3, Des Ryan delivered absolutely fantastic presentation showcasing the Arsenal Football Club Academy program, and he was talking about the FMS, the functional movement screen, and he was saying we already know that the FMS is not highly correlated with injury predictability. We know this. but he just wanted to remind us that he thinks it's something that he wants to continue to use with his Arsenal athletes, because he knows that it's sensitive enough to show that if you don't apply the right training, your FMS is going to go up pre-puberty or pre-peak height velocity. It's going to go down during your peak height velocity, and if you're lucky, it's going to go back up. But without proper programming, there's a potential for that score to go down and down and down. And his challenge to his S&C team is to make sure that that score on the FMS doesn't go down during peak height velocity. If you program smartly, it shouldn't do. And that's, you know, really interesting information for me to challenge myself to make sure that our athletes are not reducing their movement quality just because they're going through accelerated growth. And then the last couple of take-home points, I'm going to go to Pete Atkinson, who is the lead S&C for the English Cricket Board. And a couple of things that he said is, if we measure it, we report it. If we measure it, we report it. So I guess I'm quite guilty of quantifying a lot of our performances in the athletes and measuring stuff and putting it into spreadsheets and having my records of what good looks like, but I don't always get that information back to the coaching team, get it back to the athletes. Sometimes I just kind of keep it for myself so I know what good looks like, but actually if we measure it, we need to report it, and that's something that he said. And the last thing he talked about was Bernstein's theory of repetition without repetition, and he was showing some really cool examples of strength sessions that are not in the traditional sense, you know, just about barbells and just about sagittal plane getting strong. He acknowledged that his athletes like those sessions the most and feel that they get the most out of them, but he was all about finding different novel ways to introduce adaptation and overload from different ways with I suppose more of a skill acquisition point of view, so using more of the Bosch type approach to strength training and special strength training rather than the kind of Newtonian's force production model of strength training. So really interesting stuff. I know he's going to put a video out soon and I'm excited to show you guys that. So hope you've enjoyed episode 1, and check out the blog because it's going to be coming where I give you more information about the Proformance Strength and Conditioning Conference. Take care.